Hello, today is April 18th, 2025. I am Jordan Hunt. You can call me Beans as always. Today I'm back here with my good friend Stephen Teal. We're going to be talking about what's going on around the league. Stephen, how have you been?
Good. I'm good, man. It's good to be here with you again. Ready to talk some baseball with you.
Yeah, well, I want to welcome you guys on into Beanball Buzz. I just want to say thanks for the patience to everybody for the last couple weeks. As most of you know, my daughter had surgery on the 25th of March. Everything went fantastic, better than they could have ever expected. She got off a bunch of meds. They were able to wean her ventilator down to basically the lowest settings you can possibly be on. She's off the ventilator now for 15 minutes a day. Like it was a much needed couple weeks for my family, but just want to thank everyone for being patient with us while the pod wasn't able to be up and running. So, but like I said, everything went great. We're back home now, and we're ready to get back into talking some ball. So,
Absolutely. I'm excited. Glad
yeah.
everything's good with
So,
her. That's always good news.
yeah. I mean, like I said, dude, it could not have gone better. So, um, but getting into some things, first thing we wanted to touch on was that the Braves yesterday during the off day for the Atlanta Braves, they called up Alex Verdugo, sent down Brian De La Cruz. Do you think it's going to help?
Um, you know, it's hard to know what's going to help this team right now, Jordan. It's been a really
Yeah.
bad start for us. It's an understatement, probably. Um, I think it can't hurt. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it. I wrote something on this earlier, like I mentioned to you before we started. Verdugo's had some pretty good success in his past, leading off, even being the first batter of a game. I believe it was a 279 average leading off in his career. Last season, he had 375. It was over a small sample size. But I think he's got the attitude that's been missing from the clubhouse. So if anything, I feel like he's a shot in the arm, hopefully in the dugout at least. Maybe that's what's been missing, someone with that swagger. Profar was that guy. As soon as that happened with him with the suspension, that left. So if anything, I don't know how he's going to perform on the field. I think it's going to at least help him that way.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because right after Alex Verdugo signed, and this was before we knew about Profar situation and all that stuff, I actually tweeted that I thought that Alex Verdugo could have a Jock Peterson type of effect on this roster. The Braves are a team that they've got all the pieces, right? But maybe there's just too many nice guys in the room. And they seem to do better when they've got, for lack of a better term, a fuck you guy hanging around.
Yeah.
In 2019, that guy was Josh Donaldson. In 2020, that team was just really, 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 really good. Unfortunately, it didn't work out because they didn't have the starting pitching. But you could argue they should have won the World Series that year. 2021, they had bukus of those dudes. I mean, Dansby Swanson developed into one of those guys. They had Jock Peterson. They had Guillermo Heredia on the bench. I mean, they had a lot of those guys around, and it seems like the last few years they've been missing that guy. And I think that you're right. I think that Alex Verdugo could have that kind of effect on him. When I look at the performance-wise, Alex Verdugo has not since, because not in 2024, but from 2021 to 2023, Alex Verdugo posted a 102 weighted runs created plus. That's exactly what this team needs. They don't necessarily need another big bopper. They need a guy who can come in, just be a solid bat, and put the ball in play and not strike out. Those are some things that Verdugo does well, and he brings that attitude that the Braves really need right now.
Yeah. I was looking at the numbers, and De La Cruz had a 31 WRC plus. Kelenic has like a 42. It's bad. And then Harris is not much better. I mean, it's bad. And I was looking at Verdugo. I mean, last year, he wasn't he had his struggles. But I noted in my article that he was elite in top of the league in squared up percentage, chase percentage, whiff percentage, and K percentage. Those are all things that this team needs someone to be good at.
Desperately.
And that guy mainly was Ozuna. I mean, Ozuna, and he's out. Who knows? Hopefully he's back. But we need someone like that. If Verdugo can just do that, I think we're good.
Another name you just mentioned is Profar. That was one of the things that people were excited about with Profar was his ability to get on base, his ability to foul pitches off and stay in a fight. And we still saw that when we had Profar here. But he gets popped for the suspension. That's taken away from the lineup, and that has really messed the outfield up. Brian De La Cruz was not supposed to be playing every day. Neither was Jared Kelenic. Neither one should be playing every day. Unfortunately, right now, one of them is going to have to be playing sometime or another. But now we've got Verdugo up. Hopefully, De La Cruz is down. Maybe now Eli White can either Eli White or Stuart Fairchild. Fairchild has not been good for the Braves. That's fine. I think people need to realize there's an extremely small sample size there because everybody wants to DFA this guy, and he's got like 8 at-bats, 9 at-bats, something crazy low like that. So, let's give him some time. Last year, he had a 115 weighted runs created plus against left-handed pitching. So, there's options there. I think Verdugo will give them a bat that they would feel comfortable with saying, okay, you're an everyday guy. Go out there and play every day.
Yeah.
And, just giving him that run.
The only thing that saved Kelenic was his ability to start walking a good bit more. I think that's the only thing that kept him up here.
That was helping out. Yeah, no, I agree. And, he can play center field. Not great, but he can be a decent backup center fielder. Eli White's a much better backup center fielder. So, I don't know. I think you're splitting hairs if you're talking about the difference between keeping Kelenic or Brian De La Cruz on the roster. Neither one has been good. But Kelenic is a much better defender. So maybe that was the defining reason they decided to keep him, because they're like, well, at least he can be a good defensive replacement late in the game. Yeah. So anyway, so we won't spend a ton of time talking on about the Braves. I know not everybody's here to hear about the Braves. But one other thing I wanted to touch on, or actually 2 other things really for the Braves. So sorry to others. Spencer Strider made his debut the other day. That went fairly well. I know a lot of people are concerned about the velocity. I don't think that's as big of a deal as people are making it out to be. He was still touching 95 and 96 in the 5th inning. Or no, even in the 6th inning, he was hitting 95 and 96. If that's who he is now, that's fine. He's also added, a curveball. His slider is great. He's using the changeup more. he may be a different pitcher than he used to be. Do you feel concerned about it?
No.
No. Okay. All right.
I
mean,
tweeted about
a
it,
lot of
and
people do.
you know my feelings. I think it's absurd. One start does not tell you a picture from a pitcher coming back from a UCL procedure. He's gonna take it easy. His arm's gonna take a little bit to ramp up. He hit 98 in the first inning a couple times. Shows me he still has it. I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, if that's who he is, 96, 97 is good enough these days still. With the other mix he has, I think it's fine.
Yep.
I think it's just
and if he
engagement.
can just, even if it's just this year, right? Like this year, that might be who he is this year. Okay, I'll put that out there. That's a scenario that is possible. That 95 to 97 is who he is this year. He's coming off an elbow surgery. Whether it's full Tommy John or not, you may not be able to, hit that velo regularly because, I mean, your arm's just not used to it. You haven't been doing that over the last year. So there's some stuff there. I am not worried about Strider at all. The Blue Jays are one of the best teams in baseball at not striking out. And they put up a lot of good at bats against him, and he still managed to get through 5 innings. So I think it was as good a start as you could ask for in a guy's first start coming back from major elbow surgery. I don't think there's anything to complain about. Nope. The other thing I wanted to touch on real quick, and when I say real quick, I mean it'll be like a minute maybe. Craig Kimbrell is starting to ramp up down in the minors for the Braves. He has made 2 appearances. He has thrown 2.1 innings pitched, and he has struck out 6 batters. Feels encouraging. Yeah. I haven't really seen any reports on the velo. I don't know if you have.
No. I watched a video someone that shared. It didn't show the velo, but it looked like it still had some zip on it. I doubt it's in the 99 range, probably 96, 95, something like that. But it looked like
I figured 94
still had some movement to it. Yeah, it had some horizontal movement to it. It looked pretty good. We'll see how he does when he moves up to AAA.
Yep. Yeah. I think that'll be probably somewhat soon. I mean, basically what they wanted to do is give him a spring training, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. It's been about 4 weeks since he signed. He's in games now. Maybe another 3 weeks or so, we might see him get the call up to the majors. So we'll see how that goes. Moving on away from the Braves. So I apologize to everyone else. Sorry about that. I know not everybody wants to hear about the Braves all the time, but right now the Braves are going through it. So there's going to be a little bit of talk about them on pretty much every podcast anyway. So,
absolutely.
So we've got some early season breakouts that are, some of them are interesting. Some of them are players that have been around a long time. Some of them are players that we've kind of expected to break out, but really maybe haven't broken out. And then some of them might be just honestly coming out of nowhere. And we're wondering a little bit like, should we buy into this? Is this real? So the first name that I'm going to bring up is probably what I would consider the easiest name that we can kind of make a lean on this, and that's Spencer Torkelson. We've been waiting on Spencer Torkelson to have a breakout year for a few years now. It has not happened. A couple years ago, he did pretty home runs, and everybody thought, oh, maybe here it is. And then last year was just not very good for Spencer Torkelson. This year, he's off to an incredible start. He's got an OPS over 1,000. He's got 6 homers already. And if you look at the Savant page, it's pretty legit.
Yeah, I was looking over it now, and it's pretty crazy. I mean, the strikeout percentage is not very good, but with a hitter with power, kind of always expect that.
Reminds me of Austin Riley.
Yeah, very much similar. I would say they're very similar hitters. His walk rate's incredible. If he can keep that up, that's going to help him continue. That's going to me, that's the telltale sign for him. Can he sustain that walk rate? Because for a hitter like him, he needs to do that so that pitchers can't take advantage of his aggressiveness. Kind of like Austin Riley, like you're saying. When hitters know he's struggling, they just know, all right, slider on the outside corner, he's not going to touch that.
Yep. Yeah, when he's not recognizing that slider very well, he's in trouble. And right now it seems like that was kind of what may have been bothering him prior to this week. But things have turned around significantly the last week. And it really is funny when you look at the Savant page of Spencer Torkelson, how similar it does look to an Austin Riley page. It's the chase and not great. K rate, not great. Now he strikes out a good deal more than Austin does, but he walks more than Austin does. So it's very funny. It feels like I'm looking at his page. But anyways, so I'm buying on Spencer Torkelson. I think that this is just going to be what the Tigers envisioned when they took him first overall. I think this is what they were hoping they would get. And I think he's probably going to start developing into that guy. So that's exciting. Agree with that. He's a good player. He's a good, easy guy to root for. Like, there's some players you just don't want to root for. He's not one of them. I don't think I've ever seen anybody say a bad thing about him. And another big, I guess this one is kind of out of nowhere, is Tyler Soderstrom. It's eye-popping what he is doing. He's got almost 1.1 OPS. He's got 9 homers. He leads the entire world in home runs. And
which makes no sense.
It doesn't. But I mean, it's okay. With him, you can look at the Savant profile. It looks great. But how much of that is him just having the best couple weeks of his life? Versus, is this legit? Is he real? This one's a little bit tougher for me.
Yeah. I mean, look at through. I mean, right now, God, his barrel percentage is pretty good, 20%. That's pretty good. But you can tell a lot of all of his home runs are. He's only got one opposite field. Pretty much all of them are, pulls. So he's a pull hitter for sure.
Yeah,
But I mean, the spray chart looks good. Everything there. I mean, like you're saying, it's one of those things where it could just be people are not familiar with him. He's breaking out. Could be the A's new stadium helping him out. I don't know.
It's very well
fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, he's crushing the baseball. Like, it's not like, he's just getting lucky. You got a lot of guys, or you got some guys like in Albies. I know I always use Braves for references, but Ozzie Albies is a perfect example of this. Ozzie Albies does hit a lot of home runs, but they are some of the cheapest home runs you will ever see. That dude is hanging out in the monkey grass in the chop house all summer long. And I mean, they all count the same. Doesn't matter if you're in the monkey grass or, top of the chop. But, so it's not like that. This dude's hitting tanks. I mean, his exit velocity is almost 94 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small sample size,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
I'm a little reluctant to say I believe in it. But then the analyst in me, the guy who looks at analytics and says, "Yeah, well, that that the numbers say that it's legit," it wants
Mm-hmm.
me to believe it. But
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, his launch angle is good. I mean, one of the best launch angle percentages I've seen this year.
yeah, I've
I
not.
do notice he's slugging the most against breaking balls. Off speed pitches are the worst slugging he has, which makes sense. Those are hard for most people to get to, but that he's got a 188 batting average against off speed. I would say most teams are
Mm,
going to notice that, and
yeah,
can he make that adjustment when they do? I guess is going to be the
right.
question.
It's going to be. I mean, I hate to pick on a guy because I don't want to do that. I'm not. I feel bad about it already before I even say it because I like him. Mark Vientos is having just an atrocious start to the season. He did hit his
Yeah.
first home run the other night, so maybe that's a sign of things to come. But it does seem kind of similar. A guy who had a big breakout year last year. Maybe the league learned some things about him over the years, over the year last year, and now we're starting to see some of that adjustment. So maybe he's got to make that adjustment now. I think you're right about that with Soderstrom. If he's only hitting 188 on breaking pitches, that's not gonna. Now, again, that's also a small sample size, so it could mean
Yeah.
nothing. But if that continues, that's not gonna have a good. How do I say this? That's not gonna. It's not gonna instill confidence for future success. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I'll say it that way. He's going to be interesting to watch. I mean, at the very least, I think we are seeing the guy turn into a legit major league player.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
this is not to say he's not going to be a mainstay. It's just, can he maintain that kind of crazy production?
Yeah, he's on pace for 77 home runs. We know that's not sustainable.
No.
Because if Aaron Judge has never sustained that, Tyler Soderstrom is not going to sustain that. But we will definitely be something we keep our eyes on. Maybe we'll come back to this like later in the season.
Yeah, I think so.
And say, okay, well, where are these guys at now? We'll see. Two more guys that we talked about wanting to touch on. Mike Yastrzemski is a very interesting one to me because he's not a young guy. Like Yastrzemski came up fairly, late, I guess. I think he was like 26, 27. He's 34 years old now. He's never done what he's doing now. But he's got a 1.0 OPS. And I don't know. I hate to say I don't believe in it, but
I mean,
there's a little bit of that back of the baseball card thing,
Yeah, I think it's also that people weren't expecting the Giants to do what they're doing right now. They're playing very well. The main thing, again, kind of sticking out to me, the walk rate, very good walk rate. I think that's what's helping him. He's being more selective at the plate. I mean, that's kind of the thing I'm noticing with all of these guys we're talking about. They're, getting, being a little more selective, getting pitches they're wanting. And that's kind of what you got to do. I think, like you said, I don't know
who could learn from that.
Exactly. Exactly. I think he could sustain some of this, but if you look at his past two seasons, 230, I think that's about his ceiling. I'm thinking he's going to finish the season around 260, 270 mark. I don't think he's going to keep at this pace, but if he can keep that walk rate up, I mean, maybe he can. That's kind of the main thing to look at is, can he do that? Because that is going to help get him pitches he's wanting.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at the pitch mix to see like if he's not really seeing anything significantly more. I mean, I get he's seeing more fastballs than he saw last year, but it's not a huge difference.
Yeah, if you see that
And if
242
you
average against the fastball versus way better batting average against breaking and off speed for sure.
Now, that being said, last year he was not good on the fastball.
Yeah. Yep.
Just didn't hit the fastball well for whatever reason. Maybe he made an adjustment in the offseason, and right now he's just on the fastball because he's always been – I don't want to say he's always been great on off-speed stuff, but last year he handled the changeup and the curveball really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
whip
maybe he just
percentage
worked
is
on,
down.
velo.
His EV is up also. So I'm wondering if you're right there. He may have tweaked his swing a little bit to get through the zone a little faster.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like, I'll say it this way. I don't see anything particularly that is, like, sticking out to me saying, like, hey, this probably isn't going to last.
Yeah.
Other than the back of the baseball card and the old school little mentality of, like, you don't just have breakouts at 34 years old.
Yeah.
But that's not to say it's not impossible either. I mean, I don't want to use it as an example, but Profar had a big year last year, whether that's, I mean, maybe most people believe that it's because of the steroids at this point, but he did make significant swing changes as well. And he's not the first guy to ever do that.
I have a hard time buying into the steroid stuff like that because it's like you still got to have the talent to hit the baseball.
Right, yeah. It's more of like, did it allow him to stay healthy?
Yeah,
and
possibly.
Did it allow him to not get so fatigued and all that stuff? But you've got other examples of guys doing this, right? Justin Turner's an example who, I mean, that guy was awful like the first 6 years of his career. And then he goes to LA, he adds a leg kick, changes his career. Like, he could have easily gotten out of the league in 2014. Nobody would have ever thought about him again. But no, he changed some things. Jose Bautista, perfect example there. Added a leg kick. Dude just started hitting mammoth home runs all over the place. Changed his career. So there are examples of guys doing this. I'm not saying that that's what happened here because I have not like dove into his swing and all that stuff like that. I'm just saying perhaps he did make some changes because overall the stats look legit. It's small sample size. Of course, those can be tricked. But I don't know. I like Mike Yastrzemski, and I would like to see it be real. But I think for me, I'm going to have to say wait and see. Just see how things progress.
Yeah. I would agree. Yeah, I have nothing else to add to that. I think you kind of nailed it. There's no reason.
I think it's just
he has a talented family member. He comes from a baseball family, so there's no reason to think he can't make the necessary.
He's always been a good hitter. He's always been a good baseball player.
Yeah,
it's just like I said. Unfortunately, there's the back of the baseball card mentality that just rolls through your head. Anyways, moving on from Yaz, the last guy I wanted to talk about. The reason I want to talk about this guy last is because maybe he hasn't had the big breakout year. But if you're a fan of the Atlanta Braves, and you've watched what Brendan Donovan has done against the Braves over the last few years, it's probably not really a surprise to you that this guy's having a big breakout right now because he destroys us every time we play the Cardinals. It feels like he always hits a home run against us. And early season returns look really good.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that is perplexing to me is his bat speed is 9th percentile. But it's not really affecting his exit velo or his hard hit rate
in
any huge way. So that's a weird one. I don't think I've ever seen a guy have that type of success.
Yeah.
With a bat speed that's slow. Yeah. I mean,
that's
it's almost it's like Ozzy Albies level bat speed.
Yeah, his bat speed has been fairly consistent in the 60s, the high 60s. You're right.
It's weird.
That's interesting, huh?
But I mean, he doesn't strike out much.
Yeah, that could explain though. That could explain, his lower average against the fastball. I mean, that could be part of it there. Maybe that bat speed is kind of hurting him there. Well, I'll say that 399 is not too bad. 389, excuse me. 150 against breaking pitches, so it looks like he's susceptible to curveballs and sliders for sure.
See, that's another guy then. See, I had that. See, I don't love that.
He's slugging off speed though. 579. That's pretty good.
Reminds me of Dansby.
Yeah, 100%.
I remember when 100%. Dansby could not hit a slider for his life, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude looked terrible against him.
His range is good right now, like a 2.0 AA, so that's not too bad.
He's a good player, man.
Strikeout, whiff rate, chase rate, that squared up percentage is probably the answer to the bat speed question. He's squaring everything up. That's why. Yeah, and hard hit rate's still pretty good. It's above average. So
yeah, and
I look at his
really a home run hitter. So.
No, 14, 15 home runs max a year you're going to get. He's going to slug over 750, I think. He's pretty consistent, 280, 278. So I think out of all the guys we've talked about, this is the one we can look at the stat page and go, okay, I can actually see that this is going to be someone who's going to be consistently a good player, maybe not elite, but he's going to consistently be a good player out there every day.
I would agree with that everything he's doing looks excellent. It's except not just rate. Except for the walk rate. I'll give you that. But, that's not good. 4.9. That's like all that's like Michael Harris level walk rate. But
yeah, and some of that could just be that he makes consistent contact. Maybe that's why the walk rate's low. We know Luis Ariz is not prone to walking a lot, kind of the same thing.
No,
he just makes a lot of contact. So
yeah, and it could be that he's the guy that puts the ball in play, and that's why the walk rate's low. Yeah,
that's kind of what I'm thinking. This might be the case.
Doesn't strike out much, doesn't whiff much, but he doesn't walk much. And I mean, if you're swinging the bat, you're not going to walk that much. So, all right, well, that was kind of a fun exercise. I think that it's always fun at the beginning of the year to see the guys, especially if you do fantasy. You might see a guy who I remember a couple years ago, Owen Miller. Owen Miller? Is that his name? Used to play for the Guardians.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I knew his first name was Owen. I believe it's Owen Miller. But for whatever reason, he just came out of the
Padres for some reason.
Yeah.
No, he's with the Rockies now. He's with the Rockies. That's what it is.
Okay. But he came out of the gate a couple years ago and looked like a stud. And I remember picking him up in fantasy And for like the first 2 weeks that I had him, the dude was hitting everything. He hit like 4 home runs, and I was like, yeah, this is awesome. And then he just completely fell off. And
2021, he literally hit 4 home runs total. So that might be the year you're
yeah,
talking about.
yeah. And then last year, I saw him play in AAA. So it's like,
Yeah, you never know.
Small sample sizes at the beginning of a year are always interesting, to say the least. So that's always interesting to me. One last thing before we go ahead and hop off of here is I wanted to ask you what team, whether this be good or bad, what team has surprised you the most this year? And like I said, it doesn't have to be a good thing. Yeah.
Low-hanging fruit's the Braves, so I'm going to say for bad teams, I'm going to say that's been a surprise, but I also was kind of expecting that could happen. That's all I'll say about that, just because we've kind of touched on that. The team that's really surprised me the most, I'm going to be honest with you, is the Giants we were just talking about. I did not expect them to compete with the Dodgers and Padres at all. But they're 13-6. They're right behind the Dodgers right now. I mean, hell, Arizona has the 4th best record in baseball, and they're in 4th place in their division. So that division's insane. But I would say the Giants, man, they're slugging like crazy. I don't know. I don't know why I didn't expect them to be that good, but I think they're surprising a lot of people. It may be the Tigers. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised since they did make the postseason, but I don't know. Maybe I thought that was a fluke last year, but I think those are the 2 teams that have surprised me the most.
So the team that I was looking at was the Giants. All the same reasons you just listed. I didn't think they were going to slug the way they're slugging. I don't know. They've got good pitching, so maybe that's what it is. But that, like, I saw that and thought, that could be good. They can pitch. That's good. No, I didn't expect anywhere near what they're going out and doing. But another answer that I was going to say is that something that surprises me, and this is not one team so much as it is the entire American League. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams in the American League with a record over 500 right now.
That's crazy.
That's insane. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the National League. So the National League is a bit more competitive too, or at least we kind of thought it would be.
Yeah.
But there are some teams in the American League that I did not expect to have any chance to compete that could be looking at potentially being wild card teams, like the Angels.
Yeah. The Angels have been pretty good.
They're 500 right now. They started out a little bit better than that. They've kind of taken a step back and landed at 500 today. But
safe to say the Braves have helped them be a good team. So
I would say that too. The Braves have sent them a lot of pieces.
Soler, d'Arnaud.
I was about to say, well, actually, I don't know how many people have been really paying attention. But Jorge Soler is off to a fantastic start.
I know.
A certain former catcher for the Atlanta Braves is off to a horrendous start. It is not.
I think they were right on that one.
Love him to death, but it is ugly. He's got 3 hits.
Not good.
Not
good.
But the Angels, more than anything, he's worth his leadership. And we know Darno, he's not going to have – he's got a negative 28 weighted runs created plus right now. That's not going to last.
Yeah. And think about it. I mean, Trout being healthy has made a big difference for them because he's hitting very good. I think they're going to get Zach No back soon. That'll help their offense as well. I think the main question mark on them is their pitching staff.
Yeah. Yep.
And is their ownership going to do what they've not been able to do and add people at the deadline, make the right moves that they need to make to improve it? I don't know.
Yeah, and that's that right there. What you just said, that is the thing. They, in 2023, they did attempt to make that change and go out and get the guys, but the guys they got fell off a map.
Yep.
So. Yeah. But anyways, so this has been a fun conversation. I'm glad we got to do this today.
Me too.
Just, it's more fun now that the season has started. We actually have some fun things to talk about. Hopefully some of these storylines will take shape a little bit more. Hopefully the Braves will play better baseball. Keep some of us Braves fans excited.
We'll see.
Have fun.
Not expecting much right now.
I don't know. I have my views on it. It's if the one thing I don't want the Braves to do is play just good enough to miss the postseason.
Yeah.
Because if you make the postseason, awesome. We have pretty ridiculous top three in our rotation. I don't care that Chris Sale hasn't been that good yet. He's Chris Sale. He's going to figure it out.
Yeah.
But if they're not going to make the playoffs, they should tank and they should get the best draft spot possible. But
in a perfect world, we do that. It makes you feel better. The fan experience is easier to accept when you're just think you're out of it. But we know too well it's just not how the Braves work. They play hard eventually.
No. They do, and Alex Anthopoulos is not a guy that likes to give up.
Exactly. I'm not too worried about it. Again, we're 2 weeks into the season. There's a lot of baseball left. We've seen the Braves do this before. 2021, they had weren't above 500 till after the second half. 2022, we were 10.5 out of first, and then we won the division. I mean, it's anything that happened. It's baseball, but I get the frustration. I'm never going to tell anyone you're not allowed to be frustrated about what's happening because even us who are optimistic are struggling. So
I mean,
definitely understood.
I'm frustrated too. I am frustrated too, and people think I'm the biggest AA stan there is, and maybe I am, but at the same time, I get frustrated as well. So I just think maybe people should not let it get them to the point where it's ruining their day.
Don't have a football mindset, I think, is what the way I always looked at baseball. It's not a 16, 18 game season, guys. We got almost 6 months of baseball. You got to just, if it gets to 2 or 3 months in and we're still doing this, you can give up on the season. I think it's fair to give up at that point.
But even if you give up, that doesn't mean there aren't fun things to watch for.
Exactly.
That's the way I look at it. There's always something that's fun to watch.
We learned that through the rebuild. Absolutely.
Yes, we did. Absolutely, we did. So, all right. Well, we appreciate you guys coming out and watching again. Before I get off of here, though, I do want to say hi to my daughter, Eden, who was watching this, and I was supposed to say that way earlier, and I forgot all about it. So we'll just bring this up. I know. We'll bring this up at the very end. But hi, Edie Pie. I love you. Thank you for being our biggest fan. So, but other than that, thank you guys for watching Beanball Buzz. We'll see you guys shortly.
Bye, everybody.